Hey guys. Oh, it's still morning time here, technically. It's 10:49 a.m. What's up? Welcome to Take It to Trial. Oh, how's everybody weekend going? Oh, well, dang, I'm still in the weekend. See, I'm lost already. When I start late or I'm not doing the regular stuff, like I'm all off. No, today is Monday, right? Monday, messy madness, depending on how you want it. How do you want it? Oh boy, I tell you. So how was everybody's weekend? Hey Jason, hey Film. I got a couple things to say about the weekend. I don't know if y'all ready for it though. I got a couple things that I can say. Hey Marilda. Would you say finally? Good. I am glad to hear that, Film. I tell you. I wait a minute. So I was like, well, we can't be apart for 3 days, right? I said, even if I can't find nothing for us to watch or something for us to do, I was gonna find something for us to do. So even if we didn't have nothing to do, we was gonna have something to do. There was gonna be something to do. I was like, even if we just sitting up here talking to each other, we gonna have something to do, right? That's what's most important. And you just say you had to hunt me down. I tell you. Yeah, I was like, well, we'll just get on here and shoot the breeze. Then I was unaware that we have another
Psychosocial factors
this orange.
that
I didn't know we
are
were gonna have another
relevant
process
to
with
Jose and
him.
his life
I seen it
existence.
yesterday,
And
but I
those
wasn't
things
quite sure exactly what that meant as far as a Spencer hearing. And that's just me being honest with you guys. And I was like, well, what is a Spencer hearing and what is that all about? Right? I don't know if you guys knew what it was, but I thought that after the jury had sentenced him to the DP, that was it. Like, what else more we got to talk about? But apparently, like, even if if the jury sends him to DP, the judge still has some things that he can do to discuss it. And I don't know if it's when it's an 8 to 4 or how that works, but I'll try to find more information out on in regards to it. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes in regards to his hearing today. I don't know if the judge makes a decision right then and there. And I caught myself going to the gym yesterday. You know, I had to ask the expert because we know our gym, the people I know is probably healthy. It's more healthy people in here besides the people that I hear that's always messaging that they going to the gym or coming back from the gym. So, you know, between Jason and Zach, I had to message Jason and like, okay, so if I go to the gym, can I claim I worked out if I didn't break a sweat? And he told me I could. So I worked out yesterday. I am going to claim it. Look, I am going to claim it. But you know, before I even asked him the question, I should have just waited until this morning because I couldn't barely get out the bed. Yesterday I didn't feel anything, but today, baby, I was like, oh shoot, my legs hurt and my arms hurt. Like, why am I working on all these body parts in one day? I'm like, okay, now everything hurt. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna be in a world of trouble. So I did a little treadmill. Then I don't know what I call myself doing. I think most of the time I just be trying to look in that big mirror. So I was like, okay, in order to get to the big mirror, I gotta come over here and act like I am really working out, but I'm really trying to figure out how cute my outfit looks up in this big mirror. So I kind of like stood in front of the mirror and I caught myself trying to do some squats, and I probably did them inappropriately and not correctly. So my legs probably just hurt because they hurt, and I haven't used them in that way. And then I went over there to the little arm machines, and I was like, okay, there's not enough mirrors over here. So boo that. So yeah, I was trying to get in front of the mirror. So in order to be in front of the mirror, you got to be lifting some doggone weights. Yeah, I just want to buy me a gym outfit to go to the gym and look cute. I don't know. Like I'm in the mirror, like, look like this, y'all. Ain't doing nothing. At least I thought I wasn't doing nothing. But apparently I was doing something because I'm hurting. I probably still wasn't doing nothing. I probably just hurting because I don't do that stuff. I know, taking up all the mirror space, Jason. They probably was mad at me, like she ain't even doing her squats correctly. Like, what is she doing? And why she bring a kettlebell over here when it's a bench? Don't she know this is for the weight? I went and got me a kettlebell. I was like, I'm gonna swing it in front of the mirror. Yeah, I love gyms that have all these mirrors, but you know they be wanting them for the bench people. But I didn't feel like setting my camera out. I wanted to get in front of all the mirrors that everybody else had. It's like a little studio session. Like, yeah. Thank you. I know somebody else was mad. Oh well. Oh, but I'm hurting. I'm not going back. Y'all don't have to. I'm not going back anytime. Well, maybe I might go tonight and walk on a treadmill. I'm not going back and try to stand in the front of the mirror. Not today. So they ain't got to worry about me taking up their space or anything like that. Not at all. I'm just not gonna do mirror. I'm just not gonna stand in front of the mirror and be trying to hurt myself, trying to look cute for everybody. I was like, oh, let me see. Like instead of doing my squats, like this way, I'm like on the sideways because I got to make sure the angle and everything looking right as I'm going down and coming back up and make sure I'm squeezing them glutes. I was like, this is so ratchet. Like I just need to stay home if this is all I'm gonna be doing. Like who's in the mirror sideways at the gym? You usually be like front, like this in the front. I was all sideways. Y'all like, oh, okay. See it? Yeah. I learned my lesson. I'm cool. Oh boy. So that was my weekend. And what I do Saturday? Saturday, I worked on that clip that I sent out. If y'all didn't hear it, I'm trying all types of different things just to kind of make things a little different on the channel. So I tried to I did I want to say like a what we covered last week, like all in like a little snippet. It's only like a couple minutes long. So if you get a chance, go ahead and check it out. I did it as a short. It's kind of like a combination. Then taking all the clips and kind of like putting them together. So remember, I'm just learning as we go. So some things gonna work and some things not gonna work. You definitely let me know what things you like to see so I can know what's working for us. I can kind of tell by the numbers, but then I can't tell by the numbers, right? So I'm working on the Karina. No. I'm working on Sarah Hartsfield days 3 through 5 last week. Yeah, y'all probably thought I forgot about that. I've been sitting up here editing my video longer than what I would like to be editing a video. So hopefully I'll be done with that one soon. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying some different things out. Hopefully, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. At least I can get the information out to you in some type of way. You like that new short? Good, film. I am trying to see. Yeah, I'm trying. I definitely am trying, Marielda. I'm trying to figure out what's easiest for me to do, because you got to remember, like, it's just me. And I don't know, I'm just like learning as I go along, right? Like, I have no clue how to edit videos at all. Like, if y'all know somebody out here that knows somebody that knows somebody that would mind helping somebody, please let me know, because I'm just out here just trying to do stuff, and that's all I'm doing. I have no knowledge about none of this stuff. I'm just kind of learning as I go, and I appreciate everybody being patient and supporting me through this journey of learning how to even work YouTube and what works and what doesn't work. Hopefully one day they'll give me $1 or $2 where I can afford to have somebody that and hire somebody to help me out with some of this stuff. But right now, this is a one-man show. I even asked my kids, I said, hey, how about I pay y'all $5? And maybe that's probably being a cheap mom. But I was like, how about if I pay y'all $5 per each video, and y'all go in there and get the timestamps and write them down for me so I can go in there and put them in all my videos. Hey, Lynn. And they was like, no. Hey, Baka. Yeah, they was like, no, we're busy. So I can't even pay for cheap labor around this joint. And I'm like, just get the timestamp so I can put them in the video so it can be easier for people to get to the part that they want to get to. That didn't work either, but whatever. We will figure it out. All right, guys. Well, if y'all ready to get in this courtroom to see what the Spencer hearing is all about, I'll be more than happy to take us in here. Let me see those ones and those SweetPGangs in the chat room, and we will get into court. Let's do this like this. Okay. And we're going in.
All right, we're on the record. All parties present. We have Esquire reporting here as well.
Do you see anybody in your waiting room?
We do have people on the Zoom. They just haven't turned on the Zoom. Here, no, they have turned on there. You'll see them in a second.
You are in the meeting now.
All right, so I see the names of the people. I don't know if you see their names or you can see their pictures.
Yes, there's Dr. Schwartz.
All right, and so we're here for the Spencer hearing in the case of the state of Florida versus Jose Soto-Escalera. It's case number 18 CF 2614. And from the defense, any additional evidence for the court to consider in its decision-making process?
Yes, Judge, you'll see on the Zoom, we have Shari Schwartz, our mitigation specialist. She, I think, can offer a better insight into the history of Jose's family than his family. I think she may be a better historian of those facts, and we'd like to take some testimony from her on that issue. She has prepared a report, Judge. I only have the one copy, I think. No, we have an extra copy. We can give a copy to the court. I don't
Sure.
know if Ms. Schwartz will be reading it in its entirety or whether we'll just go over it point by point.
Sure. State have a copy as well?
We do now.
All right.
So that's what we would call at this time, Judge.
All right. So Ms. Schwartz, if you raise your right hand, I will swear you. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. Mr. Burns, you may inquire.
Tell us who you are and what are your qualifications for the work that you do, Ms. Schwartz?
My name is Sherry Schwartz, and I have a PhD in psychology from Florida International University, and I work primarily as a mitigation and specialist sentencing advocacy, but I also do victim advocacy work as well, not on the same case.
And how long have you been so engaged?
Since 2010. I started with the Miami-Dade Public Defender's Office Capital Litigation Unit in January 2010, and then I went out on my own in January of 2014.
Is that when you founded Panther Advocacy and Litigation Sciences?
Correct.
And how long have you been involved in this case?
It's a little just shy of 2 years.
Where are you coming to us from right now?
I am in West Virginia working, not on vacation, or I would be in court. And
Very
I
good.
apologize for that.
No, that's fine. Do you have the report that you prepared with you?
I do. I just have it off to the side unless you wanted me to read it, or did you just want to ask me questions? However you want to do it is fine.
I'll just ask you some questions, but I'm going to kind of run through it topic by topic. If you want to refer to
Okay.
it, go ahead. Just let us know if you're doing it.
Okay.
I first want to address the title. It's a biopsychosocial report. What exactly does that mean?
Right. So biopsychosocial considers the biological, or what I do is I investigate biological factors, psychological factors, and social environmental factors that may have impacted a criminal defendant throughout their life.
And where do you derive the information that gets you to form your conclusions and write a report such as you have done?
Mostly it comes from interviews of the defendant, but also any family members, any friends, coaches, teachers, anybody that knows the defendant or remembers the defendant from a long time ago. Even if they haven't seen them in a long time, these are potential sources of information. Also records, things like jail records. If somebody has served a prison sentence previously, then I would request those sorts of records. So basically, any kind of information, medical records that might yield some information on these biological, psychological, and social environmental factors.
So it's not overstating it to say that you're essentially trying to reconstruct, in this case, Jose's life from start to present moment.
No, I don't think that's an overstatement. But certainly there's a focus on these particular factors that may be relevant to to why the person is in the situation that they're in today.
But you certainly cast a wide net as far as people that you might seek information from.
Correct.
Were you able to observe, whether on television or in person here in court, the testimony from Jose's family in the penalty phase?
I was in court, yes.
And those are all persons that you have met and conversed with before, yes?
Yes, we went to Connecticut and spoke with them.
Is there anything that you think is significant that did not come out in their testimony regarding Jose's prior history or family history that you would like the court to consider? And you can refer to your report if you wish.
Okay, I'm not referring to it yet, but I may just look through to make sure I didn't miss anything, because I neglected to mention I'm also a college professor, yet somehow when I'm testifying, I get very nervous, so I apologize. So one of the things with Jose's mom, so if I take it in chronological order, Jose's mom was 14 years old when she met his dad, who was 20. Right. And so they were in Bridgeport, Connecticut. This is criminal behavior. It was criminal behavior back then on the part of Jose's dad. Mom winds up pregnant with a son that was not Jose. He had an older brother who only lived a few months. Dad, Concepcion Soto, when she got pregnant, they left the state of Connecticut. They went back to Puerto Rico. Well, not back, because she was always in Connecticut since she was a little girl, but he took her to Puerto Rico where his family was. She had the baby there, but they were in an area of Puerto Rico where there was no major hospital. She's a child herself. She has no car, no access to transportation, hardly any money. And the baby became sick. Dengue fever was an epidemic at that time, and that's what the baby contracted. And depending on who you ask, if you ask Jose's dad, he'll say that the baby was just sick and passed away. But of course, if from mom's side, he wouldn't take her and the baby to the hospital. His family was not very helpful, and the baby died at home in her arms. And by all accounts, she was very, very different after that. So she gives birth when she's 15. This happens when she's still 15. A few years later, she becomes pregnant with Jose. She's still young. She's 17. She gives birth to Jose at 18, and then makes her way back to Bridgeport, Connecticut.
With Jose?
With Jose, yes.
And he was just an infant at that time?
He was an infant, yes, little less than a year.
And so did Concepcion, the father, return also to Connecticut?
He did at that time.
Did he stick around?
No, a short time after they separated, he was a bus driver in Connecticut. He didn't live very far. To hear him tell it, he had a wonderful relationship with Jose and Jose's younger sister. But the reality from multiple collateral interviews is quite different. It's that he was in town, but he was pretty much absentee. He had abandoned the family. So he was not somebody that the kids or Miss Carmen Escalera could count on.
And Concepcion had indicated to you earlier in the case his willingness to come and be a penalty phase witness. He backed out at the last moment, is that correct?
Yes, and we got two different reports. He told one member of the family that he had contracted COVID. He told another member of the family that he had a stroke.
What about alcohol or drug use in the family when Jose was growing up?
So Carmen, presumably to deal with the trauma of losing Jose's older brother, and then having to be a single mom, and they came from meager means. There's no shame in that, but they really didn't have very much. And to deal with her pain, the trauma, whatever was going on with her, she began to drink heavily. And this was noted by her family, her sisters, Jose's cousins that were in court. And so she didn't take care of the kids, Jose and his sister. They were living in the same building. The family all lived in the same building. It was a close-knit family in that regard. But Jose was raised or living in his aunt's homes in the building.
What was the source of income? Who was working what jobs? Do you know?
I don't know everything, and I honestly don't know if Dad paid any kind of support. I don't think that he did. he may have provided something here or there, but I don't think he was on any sort of formal child support order.
Was Jose's family
But-
receiving public assistance?
Well, the housing that they were living in was definitely a housing project. So in that way, yes. But in terms of monthly checks, things like that, I don't know.
There is a part of your report called transgenerational trauma. What does that mean and how does it manifest in this case, please?
Well, so transgenerational trauma is something that the science supports, that it's passed down through the generations. So even though in this particular case, even though Jose was not yet born when his mother was a teenage mom, a very young teenage mom, and gave birth and then had the baby die at home, her trauma would pass down to him. And I'm not a biologist, I'm not that kind of scientist, so I don't want to overstep my area of expertise. But I will say, just from the psychological impacts of that science, it shows that this kind of trauma gets passed down biologically, that it actually has impacts on kids and their brain development, emotional development, and things that are, these would be a biological factor, but also a social environmental factor where, in this case, mom is having self-medicating and things like that.
Now, the testimony that was before the jury was that Jose left Bridgeport, I think around age 15 or 16, to come to Florida. Is that supported by your research?
Yes, about that age. He was very young.
There is a section of your report entitled Jose's Resilience. Tell us about that.
Right. So resilience, there's a whole body of literature on that too. Obviously, I'm talking about it from a psychological perspective. Resilience is our ability to manage situations and rebound and, come out on the other side okay. And so in Jose's case, throughout his life, he's had adversity, but he's managed to stay out of trouble as a kid living in an area where people did not stay out of trouble. It was a very dangerous, very high crime. There's government documents on that, as a matter of fact, that I was able to find and read through. And he managed to make his way to Florida, not on his own. He came with a girlfriend's family at that time. And to hear the aunts tell it, this was a good thing for him, because then this way he's now a teenage boy. He's getting out of ground zero for getting into gangs and things that are going on there, things that he had managed to avoid up to that point. And so he comes to Florida, and his life, even though he's young and he doesn't have parents, he's at work. He didn't have his parents here with him, I meant to say, but he has work, and he has always maintained a strong work history, always manual labor positions, because he didn't have an education, a higher level of education. But Jose is also someone that's very much tries to make the best of situations that are beyond his control.
There is a section in your report, I'll confess I have some trepidation in questioning you about it, but I think it's relevant. It acknowledges the victim, in this case, Tanya and Josiah's loved ones, and they are identified as co-victims, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you develop a little bit, I don't know, I don't think it's your own work, maybe it is, but I think it's derived from some studies. What can you tell us about the psychology of being a co-victim in this circumstance?
Well, it's not my science. You're correct. It's science that I'm citing. But I do have experience working with co-victims, particularly in homicide cases. And so what we know from the science, but also from practical experience, is that the court experience that is supposed to bring us as citizens, the truth and justice and vindication that we seek, right? If we're a victim of such a horrible crime like this. And what we find is that it actually has the opposite impact. The longer that someone is in contact, a co-victim, with the criminal justice system, the worse their mental health outcomes. So the more contact in court with prosecutors, with police officers, various things that happen around this process, and the longer that goes on, the lower the mental health functioning in terms of higher rates of depression, higher rates of anxiety, and a lot of trauma around that as well. So it's a system and a process that really, for lack of a better word, tortures victims, co-victims. I don't think that's the intent of the system, but it is the practical impact.
Right, thank you. Yes. In your work on the case in the past 2 years, you have conversed with and interacted with Jose?
Yes.
There's a section, I think it's toward the end of your report, entitled Empathy for the Victims, Authentic Empathy for the Victims. What can you tell us about that, please?
Early on, Jose, when I first got on the case, Jose had mentioned, just in conversation, getting to know him, getting to know the case, getting to know his relationship with Ms. Wise. And, this is many years after this happened. He had stated something along the lines of, this is not a direct quote because it was many years ago and I don't remember the exact words, but it was something along the lines of him feeling, I asked him to describe Tanya, and he said, she was a nice person, that she didn't deserve this, and, that this was his child. He didn't know that at the time, of course, but finding that out hit him really hard. And that was unprompted. When I'm looking at those things, if I have to ask a defendant how they feel about it, and I do if they don't tell me, but in his case, I didn't really have to ask about that. And we never really talked about it again because we're talking about other things that are relevant to his biopsychosocial. And again, I guess it was a little more, it was before I wrote the report, as I was preparing the report. And, I was checking in on a legal visit because he had been in court. I wanted to, make sure he was okay after the death recommendation. And the first thing he said to me is, no one has asked me how I feel about what happened to Tanya and Josiah. So, these are the kinds of things that indicate genuine empathy in that moment when he should be thinking about, or not that he should be, but that most people would be thinking about the consequences for themselves. He mentioned Miss Wise and baby Josiah.
Now, we haven't touched on every single specific item in your report. The judge has it to consider, and I'm sure that he will. The last item in your report is titled an executive summary. So why don't you tie everything together in summary form for us now, if you can?
Sure. Can I just take a look at that so I make sure I don't miss anything?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I promise I won't read it because it's kind of long. But basically, there are a number of biopsychosocial factors that are relevant to Jose and his life existence. And those things are things like adverse childhood experiences, right? He had exposure to parental abandonment, his father leaving, maternal neglect and alcohol abuse in the home, inconsistent caregiving, exposure to trauma. He witnessed himself extreme violence in Bridgeport, including shootings and gang activity, but he also has the intergenerational trauma. Growing up in poverty, I don't think that that's necessarily something that predisposes someone to committing crimes, but we do know that in high poverty areas, there are higher crime rates. And Jose managed to avoid that, which is really notable. The family also dealt with a lot of discrimination and racism in Bridgeport, Connecticut, when Jose was growing up, and even when his mom was growing up. So this was kind of the social environment where they were living, but this is also a family who has really strong kinship bonds. And even if they don't see each other every day or talk to each other every day, they do, they show up, even if they were nervous, they weren't able to really articulate everything that they wanted to say, but they are generally very supportive of each other. And I think the authentic empathy is, to me, I don't always see that. I wish I could say that I did, but I don't. And in this case, it was really remarkable, especially the day after the death recommendation, when Mr. Soto-Escalera, one of the first things that he said with a lot of emotion was that no one had asked him how he felt about what had happened to Miss Weiss and baby Josiah.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That's all I have for you.
Any questions from the state?
No questions.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Schwartz. And
Thank you.
any additional evidence from the defense?
Judge, may we go off the record for a second? I just
Sure.
need to have a brief
Sure.
comment. about the client.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
We'll
Judge.
take a brief recess, allow the defense to speak to their client.
Wow. So now he's, he didn't know, don't know, can't stop, won't stop. I guess it's the one good thing about us having this old good old TiVo time. I don't understand this. Like this almost, I don't, and for you guys, and I'll look up some more information. This is the first time that I've like really experienced having one of these hearings after, and I'm pretty sure they have had them afterwards. I guess my thing would be is that if the sentence, if the jury has already spoken and said DP, the judge can overrule that and give him life without parole. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see exactly how this goes. But yeah, interesting. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take us back in. Let's see. I'm assuming that he might as well go ahead and testify. I mean, now that he admitting that, I mean, I guess he don't have no way around it saying that it's not his baby, because we know he the baby daddy at this point in time. But I wonder, is he now admitting that he did something to her?
Just had time to confer with Mr. Soto-Escalera. Any further evidence from the defense?
Well, Judge, I did have some commentary to make and some argument to make. However,
Right. But outside of argument,
no more. Well, Mr. Soto-Escalera wants to speak, Judge. I do believe.
okay.
My client would like to address.
Okay, he may make a statement either under oath or not under oath at his choosing, allocution or otherwise.
It's allocated.
Okay, you may make a statement, Mr. Soto-Escalera, at this time. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. What I'm bringing to the courts to address is, I have a conflict of interest. Mr. Thomas Burns. So I was asking for your permission, if it's possible, if I can get him removed from my case, because I don't trust him.
Mr. Soto-Escalera, trying to think of how to say this in a way that's most understandable. I think there's an expression, we're at the 11th hour. This is probably even beyond that. We're probably at about 11:59 here. We're about to close all of the evidence in your case, which would be submitted to me with the jury's recommendation, whether you should receive the death penalty or life in prison. Counsel has already done his job. They've already completed their work on the case. Really, at this point, all that's left for them to do is argue to me. So I don't believe there's really any purpose in that at this time. Even if I were to grant your request, there's nothing left for counsel to do at this time other than to make argument to me, which quite frankly could be persuasive, but given the judge's function, where we are, as I mentioned, 11:59 metaphorically, there's really not much purpose in that. So from counsel, since it does affect counsel, does counsel agree with my observation on that particular point? I'm going to inquire Mr. Soto-Escalera whether he wants to speak about the decision I have to make and give me input in that regard, because he has the right to do that. But that's separate and apart from what's being said now. Does counsel for the defense agree with my observation as far as, if this is a request to discharge counsel, where
Absolutely, Judge, and
the
that,
horse is out of the barn at 11:59 p.m., I suppose would be the metaphorical.
correct, and as I explained to my client, I am not qualified to be on the case by myself, because I'm only second share qualified. So Mr. Burns has to remain on the case to the duration.
Right, and just for the record, I haven't heard the arguments yet, but there's been a substantial amount of mitigation put before me, both at the trial and additionally here today, that I have to consider and digest. And does not seem to me that there's any reason for me to discharge counsel at this time. More importantly, before you brought that up, Mr. Soto-Escalera, you do have the right to make a statement at this time, either under oath or otherwise, that I would consider in making my determination in this sentencing proceeding. You understand you have that right to do that. And I was assuming that you were going to do that. I'm not saying whether you should or not. That's between you and your counsel. But I want to make sure that by me dismissing your conflict of interest issue, you don't take that as me dismissing your ability to make such a statement. Do you wish to make such a statement, or do you wish to talk to your counsel about whether you wish to do that at this time?
The only reason why I brought it up, Your Honor, is because something has surfaced with a witness and it was recorded in audio. This is why I'm requesting that I would have him removed. But if I can't remove him, I would like you to see what I'm speaking about so you can understand what I'm trying to say, if you have the time.
With regard to that, that would be a decision in this very important context for your attorneys to make, whether to submit that issue to me as far as potential mitigation. And as I'm required to do, I would defer to their professional decision in that regard.
I think enough, Judge. I'm going to lay it all out on the record, okay? I think Mr. Soto-Escalera is hurting his situation. He's proceeding in ignorance on the advice of ignorant people. What he is referring to is a Zoom recorded deposition, the first such deposition I ever did in my life. We witnessed Lucinda Cook. This was done, I think, on a Tuesday when there was a court holiday, when we were in the midst of trial or jury selection. I'm not sure exactly where we were yet. And before Ms. Cook joined, there was a recording with chit chat between me and Mr. Richardson about witnesses in the case, about the state of the case, about why I was calling witnesses and not calling witnesses, and complaining about somebody who had Ms. Minton's credit card and was going over the limits, and chit-chatting as counsel do between themselves, waiting for a witness. And I don't think people understand the context of how attorneys talk to each other. I think that the witnesses who overheard this, Ms. Lucinda Cook and whoever else she communicated with, think that because this is a capital murder case, me and Mr. Richardson should be like this with our hands around each other's throats every moment. And we were not that way. We were chatting as counsel do in a case. And in a capital case especially, do counsel and adversaries have to communicate frequently and exhaustively to get the thing from start to finish done. That's all that it was. There is nothing in there that was inimical to Mr. Jose Soto-Escalera's defense, and I defy him or anyone else to point to any action or anything that I did or said at any point in the preparation of this case or in the trial or in the penalty phase that was contrary to his interest. It's nonsense and bullcrap, and that's what he's on about, Judge. So he can feel however he wants. He's an idiot. On this issue, at least.
In that regard, for Mr. Soto-Escalera's benefit, the people who are here observing this proceeding, regardless of the court's sentencing decision, whether I impose a life sentence
Whoa. You talk about an attorney heated. Talk about fight. I want him to go over there like I don't even want to represent him no more. Like I can't even do this in good faith. He need to be DP'd. He did that motion right there. Oh my goodness. Talk about a attorney heated. He like, get that crap out of here. You don't know what's going on. I almost want to rewind that right now and watch that again. Should we rewind that and watch that again? Oh my. I've never seen nobody like at this point in time. He like, oh, you're not about to be trying to pull that stuff on me like we did something wrong. You don't even know what's going on, homie. We should rewind it. I think so too, Marilda. Let's rewind it. Oh goodness. He is mad. Like, don't be trying to pull. Wait a minute. I'm gonna set the record straight right now. You're not about to be throwing this stuff out on us. Homie, you better get your whole life in order. You the one did this. We just tried to help you out. You effed this up, homie.
It's because something has surfaced with a witness and it was recorded in audio. This is why I'm requesting that I would have him removed. But if I can't remove him, I would like you to see what I'm speaking about so you can understand what I'm trying to say, if you have the time.
with regard to that. That would be a decision in this very important context for your attorneys to make, whether to submit that issue to me as far as potential mitigation. And I would, as I'm required to do, I would defer to their.
When you say before this OnlyFans, what you mean before? You talking about, this is what he's stating on the record. This is what he said when he came back. Are you, I know he stated that he wanted to. I know that. But it's wildly entertaining, right? Yeah, unless you, I don't know, because when he came out, this is what he, okay. You talk about from this point, I'll be talking about from this point. Here we go.
From the defense.
Well, Judge, I did have some commentary to make and some argument to make. However,
Right. But outside of argument.
No more. Well, Mr. Soto-Escalera wants to speak, Judge.
Okay, wait a minute. Are you talking? Okay, right here. This is good. Okay, let's go with this because I know that he asked to speak with his attorneys. They wanted a quick second, and that's when they went out. They were in the back doing whatever they were doing, and then they came out, and then we started right here. Okay, we good here? Okay.
I do believe.
Okay.
My client would like to address.
Okay, he may make a statement either under oath or not under oath at his choosing, allocution or otherwise. Okay, you may make a statement, Mr. Soto-Escalera, at this time. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. What I'm bringing to the court is to address is, I have a conflict of interest. Mr. Thomas Byrne. So I was asking for your permission, if possible, if I can get him removed from my case, because I don't trust him.
Mr. Soto-Escalera, trying to think of how to say this in a way that's most understandable. I think there's an expression, we're at the 11th hour. This is probably even beyond that. We're probably at 11:59 here. We're about to close all of the evidence in your case, which would be submitted to me with the jury's recommendation, whether you should receive the death penalty or life in prison. Counsel has already done his job. They've already completed their work on the case. Really, at this point, all that's left for them to do is argue to me. So I don't believe there's really any purpose in that at this time. Even if I were to grant your request, there's nothing left for counsel to do at this time other than to make argument to me, which quite frankly could be persuasive, but given the judge's function and where we are, as I mentioned, 11:59 metaphorically, there's really not much purpose in that. So from counsel, since it does affect counsel, does counsel agree with my observation on that particular point? I'm going to inquire Mr. Soto-Escalera whether he wants to speak about the decision I have to make and give me input in that regard, because he has the right to do that. But that's separate and apart from what's being said now. Does counsel for the defense agree with my observation as far as, if this is a request to discharge counsel, where
Absolutely, Judge, and
the horse is out of the barn at 11:59 p.m., I suppose would be the metaphorical.
correct. And as I explained to my client, I am not qualified to be on the case by myself because I'm only second share qualified. So Mr. Burns has to remain on the case to the duration.
Right, and just for the record, I haven't heard the arguments yet, but there's been a substantial amount of mitigation put before me, both at the trial and additionally here today, that I have to consider and digest. And does not seem to me that there's any reason for me to discharge counsel at this time. More importantly, before you brought that up, Mr. Soto-Escalera, you do have the right to make a statement at this time, either under oath or otherwise, that I would consider in making my determination in this sentencing proceeding. You understand you have that right to do that. And I was assuming that you were going to do that. I'm not saying whether you should or not. That's between you and your counsel. But I want to make sure that by me dismissing your conflict of interest issue, you don't take that as me dismissing your ability to make such a statement. Do you wish to make such a statement, or do you wish to talk to your counsel about whether you wish to do that at this time?
The only reason why I brought it up, Your Honor, is because something has surfaced with a witness and it was recorded in audio. This is why I'm requesting that I would have him removed. But if I can't remove him, I would like you to see what I'm speaking about so you can understand what I'm trying to say, if you have the time.
With regard to that, that would be a decision in this very important context for your attorneys to make, whether to submit that issue to me as far as potential mitigation. And as I'm required to do, I would defer to their professional decision in that regard.
I think enough, Judge. I'm going to lay it all out on the record, okay? I think Mr. Soto-Escalera is hurting his situation. He's proceeding in ignorance on the advice of ignorant people. What he is referring to is a Zoom recorded deposition, the first such deposition I ever did in my life, with witness Lucinda Cook. This was done, I think, on a Tuesday when it was a court holiday, when we were in the midst of trial or jury selection. I'm not sure exactly where we were yet. And before Ms. Cook joined, there was a recording with chit chat between me and Mr. Richardson about witnesses in the case, about the state of the case, about why I was calling witnesses and not calling witnesses, and complaining about somebody who had Ms. Minton's credit card and was going over the limits, and chit-chatting as counsel do between themselves, waiting for a witness. And I don't think people understand the context of how attorneys talk to each other. I think that the witnesses who overheard this, Ms. Lucinda Cook and whoever else she communicated with, think that because this is a capital murder case, me and Mr. Richardson should be like this with our hands around each other's throats every moment. And we were not that way. We were chatting as counsel do in a case. And in a capital case especially, do counsel and adversaries have to communicate frequently and exhaustively to get the thing from start to finish done. That's all that it was. There is nothing in there that was inimical to Mr. Jose Soto-Escalera's defense, and I defy him or anyone else to point to any action or anything that I did or said at any point in the preparation of this case or in the trial or in the penalty phase that was contrary to his interest. It's nonsense and bullcrap, and that's what he's on about, Judge. So he can feel however he wants. He's an idiot on this issue, at least.
In that regard, for Mr. Soto-Escalera's benefit, the people who are here observing this proceeding, regardless of the court's sentencing decision, whether I impose a life sentence or a death sentence.
Oh my gosh, the attorney just called his client an idiot. I'm done. Oh gosh. The attorney didn't call his own client an idiot. Did y'all hear that? Called him an idiot. I've never, he is mad that he says that he don't know what he's talking about, and then he had the nerve to bring this up in front of the judge like he did something wrong, but the attorney got to keep his cool. Like, you can't call your client an idiot. Like, I'll be sitting over there like, well, dang, dog. Really? This what we doing? Gosh, he done called his own client an idiot. All right. I didn't even catch that the first time.
There are appeals that take place directly, and then indirect appeals, which relate to assistance of counsel, whether the defendant received proper assistance of counsel. That's for a different day. I could see this coming up perhaps in that scenario on the merits to be figured out at that time as appropriate, which goes back to what I said before. The evidence is in, mitigation has been placed before me. So we're at that stage where I'm to consider that. Put differently, if Mr. Soto-Escalera feels that Mr. Burns did not properly litigate his case for whatever reason, will be a proceeding in that regard. But to be fair to Mr. Burns's respected counsel before the court, usually what has to be shown, or what would have to be shown, is something of substance, not just some idle remark we see from criminal defendants all the time, like, my attorney is working for the state, because look, they're smiling at each other and they're acting as professionals and not constantly cursing and berating each other and putting each other down. That's not the expectation of the court. In fact, we foster the opposite as professionals, that they get along, because once this case is over, they'll be on to a next case, and so will I. And so as professionals, they have to work with each other. But more importantly, as I mentioned at the outset, that is for another day. I'm directly focused on the extremely consequential and important decision I have to make, which goes back to whether Mr. Soto-Escalera wants to make a statement regarding himself, the case, for me to consider. He does not have to, and it's not going to affect him negatively if he doesn't, but he has that right to do that. So there again, we broached a different subject. I don't want him to think that I'm not going to listen to that, should he wish to listen to make that statement. On the other hand, I'm not sure he has an intent to do that anyway. He just wanted to broach this subject. Okay. Okay. All right. So it's not the first time I've had to tell the defendant or someone else, that's for another day. There is a right to have a motion for post-conviction relief with regard to your Sixth Amendment right to counsel. That's for another day, really, regardless of my decision here. So other than that, that concludes the Spencer hearing evidence from the defense. Any evidence from the state before argument?
No, sir.
All right, so let's start off with the argument of the state. If you wish to make a summary argument, but you don't have to. I mean, obviously, I'm familiar with my role here. I want to dissuade you from that, but you do both have the right to make argument to influence me in the way I evaluate the evidence,
Sure.
the way the aggravation and mitigation.
Yes, sir. I would just say that based on the extensive evidence that was adduced in the trial and the penalty phase, based on the findings, the aggravated factor findings of the jury, as well as the verdicts of the jury as a whole, it will state request that the court impose 2 death sentences in this case on both counts. Thank you.
Thank you. And the defense, Mr. Burns.
Yes, I do have a few comments to make, Judge, in the nature of argument, some of them addressing aggravators and some just in general. One of the things that needs to be considered and proved is that there was heightened premeditation in this case. I think certainly there was evidence that this case was planned and thought about at least for some days before the actual killing occurred. I don't know how extensive or how important the court would consider the testimony of the witness who indicated that Jose was interested in ghost guns, I think a couple of weeks before the killing. I don't know whether that manifests as an expression of intent to do anything wrong. This was not a shooting or a gun crime. It did not arouse in the witness's mind at the time that there was anything nefarious going on. He thought that Jose might have been building a gun for sale. And so what we have here, the evidence in the case was that this was a pregnancy of many months duration that Jose objected to from the start, and yet there was no evidence of any kind of intent to do anything wrong until only a few days before the actual event. And so I would ask the court to consider that. On this next issue, again, I don't like to tread here, but these are just unsavory matters to begin with. Regarding the aggravator of child under 12, I certainly do not dispute that that aggravator is correctly found. I do offer for the court's consideration that the manifestation of that aggravator in this case is as mild as could be. I don't want to state it any more bluntly than that, but what we lost here and what we mourn here in Josiah, we lose and mourn speculatively. There's no personality that has been evinced. And so I think that although that aggravator is properly found, it could be even more horrible. We have testimony from Raul Benasco relative to the court imposing a life sentence without the possibility of parole, which is what I'm asking for in regards to each victim. That Jose's been fined while he's been incarcerated for many years in the county jail, which is not designed for long-term incarceration. He would be a good prisoner. He has skills to offer. They work them hard in prison. Jose has skills to offer. I also want to ask the court to consider that the nature of persons who ought to be executed should be such that Jose doesn't really fit the category. He has no prior criminal history whatsoever. This is a dramatic departure from nothing to a very horrible crime, but it is a crime of personal circumstances. It is not a crime of randomness. It is not a crime against strangers. It is not a crime where Jose indicates that he is some kind of danger to the community at large. It is a very particularized type of crime. Again, wildly at odds with his nature that we heard from his family and that we heard from Dr. Schwartz, and that is evidenced in his lack of a criminal record, which I think is really quite astounding. And finally, I think I would be remiss if I did not remind the court that although the recommendation is for death, it was as close a call as could be possible, and I would ask the court to consider that also in leaning towards life without possibility of parole for both counts. Thank you.
Thank you. Any response by the state?
Yes.
In abundance of caution, let me ask a question to the state. And in part, this is just to avoid the appearance of us as with regard to the evidence that we glossed over anything. I have my own view of the evidence, and I'd certainly listen closely. I don't know that this was really fleshed out in argument before the jury, but with regard to the cold calculated, premeditated, aggravating factor, which was found by the jury beyond a reasonable doubt, is my perception of the evidence correct from the state's view in that it does appear that there was substantial planning fitting the definition? However, there was a variance between a lot of the planning and the actual way that the crime was committed, in the sense that there was a lot of talk of a gun, and then the murder occurred by different means, and which doesn't undo the aggravating factor, but it's something I because I've never heard the state directly address that. I don't think the state directly addressed that with the jury because it's kind of an aside, but just to cover every base, and because it was brought up by the defense, what is the state's view of the situation there with the evidence?
Yes, so the evidence, the way the evidence shook out was that there was a significant degree of planning in the days leading up to this, particularly beginning on August 21st of 2018. The defendant discussed using a firearm on multiple occasions, but the court is correct. At no time did the defendant ever discuss cutting her throat or hitting her in the head with a large blunt object, which was the ultimate cause of death in the case. So although there was much discussion, and I think he did go back and forth on the way he would kill her, I don't recall any specific statement regarding either cutting her throat or hitting her in the head with a large blunt object. He actually, and he also did discuss using a second person, presumably a Alvarado. But again, there's no evidence that that was actually carried out.
And there was discussion, I have this in my notes, but just in an abundance of caution, there was discussion between the defendant and Mr. Alvarado in the garbage truck about the location of where the crime would occur.
Yes.
The route, the garbage route.
Oh, yeah, in several different conversations.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, particularly given what was brought up with regard to counsel and so forth, I do want to commend the attorneys for their fine work. And no one can do that better than me because it's right now squarely before me. Let me tell you where I am in the case. This is one of those situations where, as a judge, you could try to put the case out of your mind as much as possible. But I've found doing this that even when you think you're doing that, you're still thinking of this case. I've been constantly thinking about it. I'm far along in my analytical process. However, more has been put before me today, particularly fleshing out other suggested mitigation and a few others that are also new suggested mitigation. So I have that to shore up, but I do intend to finalize my decision and announce my decision this Friday, which is the 10th at 1:30. There's a chance that I'm not done by then, but I think I will be done by then. There again, I'm far along, and I appreciate the doctor's report. I will review it in exquisite detail and dissect it along with my notes to make the final decision in this case. Either way, the decision of the court must be in writing. So I will announce the decision on Friday at 1:30, and we'll see you then.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Let's go off the record. Now, in the
Dang. This is definitely something different, right? Whoa. Ay, ay, ay. Me neither. Me neither, Denny Don. How are you today, sweetheart? Yeah, this this was definitely different, right? Yeah. This attorney is he like you're not gonna be put in my what is it? I can't even think of it. His personality, his stuff. You're not gonna put my stuff out here like I done did something wrong. My professionalism, like I wasn't trying to defend you. You the one that went out here and was out here unaliving people. Fool, I'm up here trying to save you. You think that I got to be mad at these people every day? No, sorry. No, I do not. Oh yeah, he was getting his story in, Maddie. He said, "Cause you're not gonna tarnish his his rep. You're not gonna tarnish him." I can't even get my words together. I've never seen anything like that, especially not when we talking about your own attorney. It was not a good look. Like his reputation, you got it, Lynn. Like I can't even figure out what I want to say. I'm up here trying to figure out how to make sure that everybody know that this stuff went down today. What a mess. I mean, like, and then he got back up and act like did nothing happen. I tell you, like they've been in a relationship. You know, that's kind of like how couples fight. We're gonna fight with each other, and then I'm still gonna get up and I'm gonna make you breakfast. I guess in some relationships, some of them be like, "F you, I'm not fixing you anything." Oh, let's see here. That was definitely spicy. And I think the judge is kind of like already on their decision. That's why I was like, well, why are we even having this hearing? Like, what is that even all about? That was my question in regards to it, but let me see what else we got out here. I know we wanted to take care of that. So our jury is still being selected for our Bianca Ellis case. It looks like we'll probably have our opening statements, I'm assuming tomorrow on that case. They didn't have court on Friday. I know they were in jury selection on Wednesday and Thursday of last week. So I'm assuming that they should be done with the jury selection today, and we should have opening statements tomorrow. Yeah, because it is 3:00 there. I can't imagine that they would do opening statements today. So that's our other case that we kind of like keeping an eye that we're planning on doing. And so that'll start tomorrow. You know, just Shamrock, that's a good question. Maybe so. Let me see. Let me see if I can find some more information on what a Spencer hearing is about. So we can all learn together, because when I seen it, I was like, I don't even know what this is, what this is about. So we'll ask our homie out here. I don't know if he right all the time, but it says that a Spencer hearing was needed in the Spencer versus. Okay, so I guess it came the name of it. Here we go. We're learning. We learn something new every day, right, guys? So the reason why it's called a Spencer hearing is because it came from when there was a Spencer hearing in Florida. There we go. Now, a Spencer hearing was needed in this case, Spencer versus Florida, because the Florida Supreme Court established that judges must hold a post-conviction hearing for a defendant to present any additional evidence and have an opportunity to be heard and offer comments on a recommended sentence, particularly in a death penalty case, after a jury has recommended that sentence. So I guess not necessarily, because it's not unanimous. It was a unanimous decision. It seems like they hold these regardless in Florida, Judge Shamrock. So it doesn't, I don't think it really, I don't think it matters. I think this is something that they just do whenever the jurors recommend DP. So it just says like it's the last chance. This is your last and final call. And I mean, he was throwing it all out there. He said, shoot, you don't want them to be his attorneys no more. They was talking to the other side. I mean, it allows the defense a final opportunity to present any additional evidence, expert testimony, and any arguments that were not presented or considered during the trial. So, and it's just an opportunity to be heard. So this is defendant's last chance to speak, and he decided not to speak. He wanted to complain and cry about some stuff that he don't know about. He think that everybody's supposed to be mad at everybody. Like, these people work in the same office with each other. They're allowed to talk to each other. Absolutely, Judge Shamrock. We all learning together. We are learning together in some things that I don't know. I will definitely try to figure it out. Figure it out all as one, right? So awesome there. So you learn something new every day. So that's good to know. Because when I seen it, I was like, I don't know what that's about. Yeah. Yeah, well, now we know. Yeah, it was his final straw. It was his final thing to do. It was his final try, so he tried. It didn't work, but he tried. Let's see what else we got going on out here on these YouTube streets. Because I think that's the only thing that we really have to cover today. I was going to set up a stream later just for a Miss You Monday because we didn't have anything. But now that we all here, what's up? Let me see here. Give me 1 second here, guys. Where's my thing at? Let me see if I what? Well, I mean, I don't know. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta fix something really quick. Drunky, if you hear me, if you are listening, it was an accident and I am coming out there to get you. Give me 1 second. I remember I'm new to this game, but let me come get you because it was an accident. Mm, mm, mm. Give me 1 second. I gotta go get somebody that we didn't put out in the streets. We don't want nobody to be in the street, right? So I had to get somebody that we accidentally didn't put in the streets. Okay, let me see if I am able to reverse this. This is I don't know what's going on here. OnlyFans, are you having issues with finding us? I don't know why you are in my hidden users. Like I'm looking at my hidden users, and for some reason you are in there, and I know nobody would have put you in there. I don't know. I don't know if YouTube be doing stuff. Oh my goodness. I guess I'm gonna have to go in here every once in a while and check this. Yeah, and Drunky, I don't see your name in here. I don't know how to get people from out of timeout. And it was an accident. It was an accident. It was an accident. It was an accident. I don't know, therapist. She got accidentally put in timeout, but I don't know how to get her out of timeout. I don't know. I think maybe I don't know. I don't know how long the timeout are, but I want her. She's not in the thing where I can when I'm looking at moderation, like who is blocked from, but it's so crazy because it had OnlyFans in there too. Like they had him in here as being blocked. Isn't that weird? And they put him back in here as a hit. Are you hiding yourself, OnlyFans? I just took him out and they put him back in there. Okay. So 86K seconds. I don't know what that is, but okay. Yeah, we may have another thing. Okay, so I think I removed OnlyFans from being out there, and let's see here. I don't know, Just Sharon Rock, but it was just an accident. I don't know. But I want to make sure it's corrected because we weren't putting no drunkie in timeout. Yeah, I think sometimes I'm gonna have to go in here and make sure that it's not blocking people because it looked like YouTube is blocking people or somehow people are getting accidentally blocked from the channel. And I really don't go in there because we're not blocking a whole bunch of people, right? Like we don't typically have issues up in our chat. So but I see it's like tons of people in there. OnlyFans just stood out to me because that's OnlyFans, right? So what else we got going on? Let's see. Out here in these YouTube streets. Oh, I don't know if you, I thought we was going to do this case here. Let me show that to y'all. I'll show it to y'all. But he pled out this morning, so we won't do it. Well, you know, of course we won't do it. I'm not sure exactly what the background of it is. I didn't have time to even try to figure out what the background of it is. I thought we was going to find out more when they went to court. For the, I was looking at it earlier. Let me find it in my history.
#5987, styled the state of Texas versus Darian Ronell Brown. Is that your name, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a
Yeah, for
United
this
States
case
citizen?
right here, he
Yes,
did plead
You're
out. He
charged by
pled guilty
indictment
this
with
morning.
the offense of capital murder.
I'm
The
gonna
state is
play
filing a
it.
motion asking that I strike certain
But let
language.
me show y'all the video. I don't know, just Sharon Rockin'. It's almost about to make me. I'm gonna have to go in here and try to figure out because right, we don't want. And I'm gonna have to. I guess I'm gonna have to put myself as a weekly reminder. To go in there and make sure, you know, certain people are not on the list because I don't want people. I know Marilda was like she had to hunt me down, but I think she was talking about emailing. That okay. I guess I gotta figure out how to get her back out of there because it's not showing up like she blocked. I don't know how to get somebody back out of timeout. Oh. Yeah, I thought they even had a 15-minute one, but I guess not. Okay, you were referring to my email. Okay, because I want to make sure that you wasn't trying to look for me and you couldn't find me because of this issue. You know, it's always something. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Okay, so first I want to show y'all this the video of what I seen today. Oh boy. So this is like a body the in home footage, I guess you want to say. His name is Darian Brown. Like I said, his trial was supposed to start tomorrow. They were supposed to have jury selection today, but he decided to plead out. Okay. There were plenty of times. OnlyFans, I was able to OnlyFans, I was able to pull him back out because he was blocked from the channel. But Drunky, I can't get her back in here. Okay. And she said there's no way I can't unhide someone. There is no manual override. Oh shoot. Creators better trust your minds. Yeah. Oh boy. It happens. Oh well. Okay. We tried. So Drunky, if you out there, we not pushing you out in the streets. You did nothing wrong. It was just an accident. If you want, I drop the link and you don't even have to type. You can come up here and talk. Or can she not see the channel at all? Oh gosh, what a mess. So even though he has pleaded out, and we'll listen to we'll not pleaded out, but he has pled guilty. Let me make sure I have that correct. He has pled guilty to this incident. I'm gonna show y'all the footage that they have, and then we'll go into the courtroom for his plea deal, his pleading out, his pleading guilty this morning case. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. So she can hear me. Okay, good. I'm glad that she can still hear me. I'm so sorry, drunkie. So this is the suspect, as y'all can see. That was the little boy at some point in time going and getting his bed. This is all caught by their camera at their home. I'm not sure how he got in this house. I don't understand any of this stuff. And you know, I'll probably do some more research on this one so we can kind of understand like what happened here. I could probably look at some some stuff in there, some circumstances and stuff like that, and find it. I didn't know he was gonna plead guilty this morning, and I thought we were gonna figure out everything as we go through trial. So he's like just standing there. I mean, this is so creepy. And I'm like, well, do they keep their doors unlocked, or what's going, like nobody hears anything? I don't even understand this. Isn't this creepy? Could you imagine? Like, I don't even know how they sleep at night after seeing this. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Like, I wouldn't trust anything. I don't even know. I don't even know if this is the same person. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna have to find out some information about this. I'm gonna do some research while we listen to the hearing. So this is the next day, I believe. Yes, Hellcat, he just took the baby. Now this is the twin, from my understanding, because it was twins. He knew the family. Yeah, it's like the weirdest thing ever. Okay, because I was wondering, was he like lost? Did he not find his way? Like, what was going on? So let me see. Lynn said something about his on court TV. Yeah, I think that's the okay. I don't know if this is. I wonder, is this live? Yeah, I can't tell if this is the actual video, but wait a minute. You know, and it wasn't really that publicized, just so everybody know, because like even when you go search on YouTube and stuff, it's not a lot of stuff out here, which is also very concerning. Okay, let me share this screen, and this is him doing his guilty plea deal. Now, remember, he was supposed to go to court. So this happened back in he was 18 years old. Just so y'all know, this happened in Texas. The little boy was 4 years old. Originally, he was not competent to stand trial, and that's why it has taken so long to come to this point. Of course, they have, you know, according to their arrest report, and I'll go look up this stuff if y'all want me to. We can probably see Texas may be good in regards to their reports. We just saw the surveillance footage where it showed the little boy being taken from his crib as he was sleeping. It happened about 5 a.m. on May the 15th. Nearly 2 hours later, a 911 call reported finding an unresponsive child laying in a puddle of blood in the street, guys, about 8 blocks away. And this was at 11 o'clock a.m. By 11 a.m. he was reported. Yeah, wow. I know when I seen it last night, therapist sent it to me, and when I seen it last night, I was kind of pissed off. Like, okay, so now I mean, really? Like, I was pissed off about it. So that was just my thought. Like, pissed off, but it sounded like he really got some mental issues. I don't know how deep this goes, but you know, it just sucks all the way around, right? Yeah, I don't know if he was like sleepwalking. I got many and plenty questions. I mean, this is really, really sad. You know, and not to say, you know, definitely traumatized for the family, but you know, guys, we'll be going into a case this week with Bianca. And not to take anything away from the victims and things like that, but people that actually struggle from this mental health stuff, like it really, really, really gets hard because a certain fact that you feel sad for them in some ways. So, you know, like some people, we just know they the scum of the earth, right? Like the case that we just seen. He had nothing. He just wanted to get rid of her. Right. But these next cases that we're going to be handling this week is more like you feel sad for all parties involved, and your heart breaks, you know, that he didn't have the appropriate mental health services, or he didn't have certain things in place to recognize that. Because remember, he was 18 at the time. So I'm not sure how his childhood was, or what things, you know, led up to it, or what his mental, because of course they didn't tell us about it. But when you think about all of that, it just gets heartbreaking all the way around for me. But let's see what, because I think we have victim impact statements and a couple other things here.
5987, styled the state of Texas versus Darian Ronell Brown. Is that your name, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged by indictment with the offense of capital murder. The state has filed a motion asking that I strike certain language and reduce this case to a first-degree felony of murder, which I granted. That makes your range of punishment anywhere between 5 years up to 99 years or life in prison. Do you understand the offense you're charged with and the range of punishment you now face?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you read, did your attorney explain, and did you understand everything you signed today in connection with this case, including the court's written admonishments regarding your statutory and constitutional rights and the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have an absolute right to a jury trial, which we are set for today, but it is my understanding that you want to waive and give up that right today to enter a plea of guilty. Is that in fact what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you doing so, waiving your right to a jury trial, both knowingly and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may arraign your client.
Judge, we'll waive reading of the indictment and enter a plea of guilty to the lesser included offense of murder, Your Honor.
Your attorney has pled guilty on your behalf to the lesser included offense. Is that in fact your plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty and for no other reason?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
State Upper States Exhibit 1, defendant signed written voluntary judicial confession and stipulation of evidence, and States Exhibit 2, the Michael Morton paperwork.
No objection, Your Honor.
As opposed to offering States Exhibits 1 and 2, do you want the court to take judicial notice of them?
We do.
Any objection from the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
The court will take notice. State rest.
Yes.
Defense also rests in closed, Judge.
Do you believe your client is mentally competent?
I do, Your Honor.
And is there any reason in law that he cannot now be sentenced?
There is not. Judge, just out of abundance of caution, though, I just want to make sure I want to call him briefly just for an admonishment on the plea itself.
That is fine. Mr. Brown, if you could raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can put your hand down. Proceed when you're ready, Mr.
Thank you, Judge. Now, Darren, you understand that we're in trial today, right?
Yes,
And initially, we had planned to go forward on the insanity defense, right?
yes,
We really believed that we could win on the insanity defense, right?
yes,
But after looking at some of the evidence, some of the other doctors' reports and things of that nature, you decided that you wanted to accept responsibility and plead guilty to murder. Is that correct?
yes,
And you understand we could still go to trial, right?
yes.
But that's not what you want to do.
That's not what I want to do.
Okay. And again, this is a decision that we talked about, and this is how you want to handle your case.
Yes,
All right. That's all I have.
Then the court will accept your plea of guilty, and I find you guilty of the first-degree felony offense of murder as included in the indictment. It is hereby the order, judgment, and decree of this court that you be taken by the Dallas County Sheriff and safely there held until your transfer to the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, where you will serve a life sentence. That sentence is imposed to begin today, but you will get credit for your back time, and the court will make an affirmative finding in this case of a deadly weapon, to it a knife. Is that the plea agreement as you understood it?
yes,
Yes.
Because I
Yeah.
followed your plea agreement, you have effectively waived your right of appeal, and the court has received a copy of the trial court certification regarding your right of appeal. It bears your signature indicating you went over it with your attorney. So that will conclude these proceedings. We are off the record, and we're prepared for victim impact at this time.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. You may be seated,
Just
Mr.
have a
Brown.
seat.
We have 3, Your Honor.
Proceed when you're ready, State.
This is from Patty Seagroves, who is currently the grandmother and custodian to the remaining twin, Carter Vernon. This message is for Darian Brown. We were asked to write a victim impact statement so that we, the family, could explain how what you did has affected us, how it has affected the children, Carter, Abigail, and Ashlyn, his incredibly strong siblings. First of all, I just want to say that I hope that you seek God while you're in prison, because you need him worse than anyone I've ever known in my life. You need to truly seek forgiveness from him, because whether or not the family forgives you doesn't matter, but God's forgiveness does. He will be the one to determine where your soul ends up. There are no words to describe the pain that you have brought onto our family. Cash's brother has suffered unimaginable pain, as we all have, a pain that no one should ever have to feel, especially at 4 years old. You have caused him, Carter, an agonizing hurt that will never go away. He longs to have his brother here to play with, to experience life with. He was very close with his twin brother. They never got to experience the first day of kindergarten together because you took Cash's life before he was ever able to even step foot in a school. Because of you, he'll never know what it's like to have a girlfriend or drive a car for the first time or graduate high school or college. He'll never get to know what it's like to get married to the girl of his dreams or have a beautiful child to carry on his legacy. Instead, all there is a memory of what a beautiful, loving, funny little boy he was. And that's something you won't ever take away. Every single day, I imagine what Cash would look like and what it would be like for his brother to have him here. We suffer from your disgusting, hateful, and horrid act of violence every single day. Again, the pain of what you did won't ever go away. And if I had it my way, you would never see the light of day again, and you would suffer the same fate that you have brought on Cash. Your mother, who you have also victimized in this, would have to feel the exact same pain that we're feeling, but I'm not the judge in all of this. I'm just an extended victim. Just know you didn't kill Cash because, while he may not be here physically, he will live in our hearts forever. He will forever live in a place that you probably won't ever get to see. And when you tell your mom that you love her at the end of your video calls, please remember that Cash won't ever get to say I love you to his mom again. The pain of losing her child has been so unbearable that she can barely function, if you even want to call it functioning. You have destroyed her. Your victim list is very long because there are so many people that love Cash. God says that his vengeance is his, and I don't think he'll be letting you get away with what you did. His punishment will be far worse than anything we can dish out to you, and I hope you hear the name Cash ring out every day in your head and it haunts you for the rest of your natural life. I hope you never get to leave prison unless it's in a body bag, and I hope you rot in there. It is with great sorrow that I stand before this honorable court today, prepared to address the monster that has single-handedly altered the course of so many lives. My name is Trevor Gernon, the father of Cash Gernon and the victim of your heinous, cowardly act. What I hope to achieve by making this statement is twofold. First, that you will recognize my son, Cash Gernon, as a person, a human being, loved, valued, innocent, and not an item to be discarded. Second, I want to brand your memory with the name of my son, Cash Gernon, so you never forget he gave his life to ensure that you will never again have the opportunity to victimize another innocent member of society. What I'm forced to do today, no parent should have to do, but you defiled the sanctity of our family. And as a father, I'm obligated to advocate for my son, Cash Gernon, so I stand prepared to be his voice and zealously defend his memory. My son, Cash Gernon, was the apple of my eye. He was my legacy, the continuation of the Gernon line, which you have shattered. Your cowardly act has reduced me to a fraction of my former self, and all that remains is a hollow shell of a man fueled by the guilt of failing to protect my child. This statement is my son's defense and should be communicated a clear message. As a father, I would have given my life defending his, and from this day forward, my life will be spent carrying his memory in a way that will impact the lives of others. Initially, I was in favor of the death penalty, but my son's death wasn't painless or humane. You made sure of that, so now I'm opposed to you having the option to leave this world without first living out the days that you stole from my son, Cash. You do not deserve the opportunity to circumvent responsibility or leave this world prematurely as my son did. I trust that the Texas Department of Criminal Justice will enforce the sentence imposed by this court and house you accordingly. There is a cage that awaits you at a maximum security prison, and that cage will function as the only home you know from this day forward. After my release, I will rest assured, knowing my tax dollars are being well spent, preventing you from ever rejoining society. I can only hope that you decide, in the name of my son Cash, to do something meaningful and productive with the remainder of your life. And then and only then can the atoning process begin as you await the afterlife. In conclusion, the Christian in me hopes that God will have mercy upon you, but the Father in me prays that this court shows you none. Now my son Cash can rest peacefully, knowing that his loved ones will have closure and the healing process can begin. And finally, this is a statement from Cash's grandmother, Connie. On May 15th, 2021, my daughter and I received a phone call from the Dallas Police Department. They told us that they had Carter, my daughter's 4-year-old son, my grandson. They said he needed to be picked up, and I remember how hysterical my daughter was when they told her they had Carter, Cash's twin brother. But they didn't mention anything about Cash. I asked about Cash, but I received no answer. I knew deep down that something was very wrong. Moments after that, I received a notification on my phone about a child that was found dead on the street in a Dallas neighborhood, and my heart sank. My gut told me it could be Cash, and that was why the police didn't mention anything. Little did I know that was the moment our lives would never be the same. The 3-hour drive to Dallas with my daughter seemed like an eternity. I kept looking at my phone and reading about the child that was dead, wondering if it could be my grandson. I had to remain calm for my daughter because I didn't want her to know. Those were the longest 3 hours of my life. The more I read online, the more real it became that this child was our Cash. I just knew it. We arrived at the police station in Dallas and sat in a room for what seemed like hours, and nobody would talk to us. When the detective entered the room, everything became quiet, and she said the words that would change our lives forever. Cash is no longer with us. Our little boy was gone, murdered in the most horrific way unimaginable. Everything stood still for a moment, and the impact of those words started to sink in. My heart broke into a million pieces, my daughter screamed, and there was nothing I could do for her to ease that pain. Cash was 4 years old. He was just a little boy full of life who loved his twin brother and his sisters. He was happy and brought so much joy into our lives. I loved watching him play with his siblings. I can still see him running around my yard, laughing and yelling and playing on the swing set. He was so happy. You took him from us without a thought in your mind. You took him in the most horrific way possible. Why? I asked myself what your reasoning was. Our lives are forever changed, and Cash's siblings' lives are forever changed. What did this innocent child do for you to do this to him? Just thinking about the horror he went through makes me want to scream. I hate you with every part of my being. You murdered our little boy, stabbing him over and over again, and left him lying on the street like he was garbage. Cash will never have a first day of school, or graduate, or go to his high school prom, or to college. He'll never get to have children or a family of his own. You took that from him. The days after this were surreal. Planning a funeral, comforting siblings, consoling his mom, and trying to hold it all together was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. My world was shattered, and to this day I'm still suffering from the terrible loss and grief you have caused. Not only did I lose my sweet grandson Cash 4 years ago, but I also lost my daughter in the process. Her heart is broken, and she is devastated because of what you've done. Since that horrific day when you so cruelly murdered our little boy, my daughter has been lost. Unable to process the death of Cash, she's abandoned her other children. Our relationship is broken, and she's living in a world with no direction. I miss her, and her children miss her. I don't know how to help her get out of the darkness. You created this. You took a truly innocent life, destroyed my daughter, and tore our family apart. I don't know if my daughter will ever find her way back to us. I want you to suffer the way you made Cash suffer. I want you to be locked up for the rest of your life, and every time you close your eyes, I hope you see Cash's little face and his innocent eyes before you took the light out of him. I wish you nothing but misery. That's all.
That will conclude these proceedings. Thank you.
Yeah, guys. So I've been looking like to try to see if we can find like some pre-trial hearings, like anything to kind of give us an idea. I tell you, that's why I said it was not like covered. like it I don't know. Yeah, and I see, what's a good thing? Well, not a good thing that we're kind of like diving into this is because our next case that we're going to be going into, and I see some people talk about this restored competency and, how you become incompetent to competent to whatever this is, right? We will have a special guest coming on to kind of like, help us through this. Our own Rachel B is going to explain these issues to us because in these, I don't want to say issues, maybe the definitions and how this kind of works in regards to this. So we will have that coming up, because especially when we're talking about our Bianca Ellis case with the 4-year-old boy in North Olmsted that we're going to be covering, it's the same kind of situation. She went from incompetent to competent to incompetent to competent to whatever. I don't know where Rachel be at, but Rachel be here at some point in time because she's going to explain this to us. She's going to pop up and provide us with all this great information. Yes, I'm even looking back to kind of see, like the only video that I seen out there was about and this happened back in 2020, just so y'all aware. If anybody wants to do any research. Yeah, okay, so he was they previously diagnosed him with schizophrenia, according to Fox 4 News. Let me see. I'm just trying to see if I can find a video or if there's any like Yeah, like when you go on your, oh, wait a minute, here we go. Oh, it look like, okay. So Court TV did do an investigation. It aired about 4 days ago. I don't think I can play this. This is one where Vinny investigates. Let me see if I can get any clips from it.
Vanished from his crib. That boy was.
Let me see. I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can break this up into pieces and see how much commentary they provide behind them. I know. I'm so excited, SD. I'm doing a fundraiser. I'm gonna have to do a fundraiser. How was your weekend? Thank you so much, boo. I know. I was like, oh, I make sure I can get my chair so we can get these dances back going on. Oh, SD coming in hot. Look, it's hot up in here. Somebody got a membership, and if you got that membership, make sure you say thank you, SD Surf Girl 60. Gonna be a party, y'all. Victorious. Let me see. You say at taking the trial. One of the other trial coverers called live and was told. Ooh, I hope they were definitely around because I've been following it from the local news. I would be very surprised if that trial is not streamed live because they've been covering it every step of the way. Victorious. So I from all accounts, from what I've seen, they are covering it live. So I hope that they're covering it live. That's all I can say. Like I don't know. Yeah, like that's very that. Yeah, I mean they've been covering every hearing. I would be surprised if they don't do it. To be honest, like what was the point of covering all these other hearings and stuff for? Now, from my understanding, that opening statements is supposed to start tomorrow. Worst case scenario, if we don't get to see it live, then I'll definitely recap it, only because that's from my hometown. And I could get somebody to go down there to the courthouse and actually see that one. Because like I said, it was my hometown, so I got a lot of family and friends down there. So I hope I don't have to send out the patrol people to go get it. Right, Victoria. That's why I said I don't know why they would do that, but I've been watching it on the local news. So anything that I found in regards to that case, all her little hearings and stuff like that.
Surveillance footage.
Let's see what parts of this thing I could show for us, guys.
Wasn't this prevented? And Vinny, here's another bit of him speaking to a local station, WFAA.
but is now declared competent.
Well, I guess I could show it and I'll talk with it. Okay. Since we all curious about what's going on with this case.
Investigation is the tragic abduction and death of a 4-year-old boy from Texas and Cash Gurney.
So I probably have to pause it a couple times, guys, in between it, because I can't let them just kind of like talk through it. I'm gonna have to talk through it with them. Don't think I'm back here making fun or anything, jokes, but I have to kind of like do something on top of it. Are you going to cover the scatter remains trial? Lynn, I didn't cover that one because they did not do gavel to gavel coverage on it. They are just like doing clips, at least from what I've seen. And that trial started last week. And if I can't go and get stuff in a certain area and I gotta go many and plenty of places and find stuff, I'm out on it. Thanks, Irish. Yeah, certain stuff I'm out on, but I did, they like in the second week of that one. I heard he already even testified. They didn't cover that gavel to gavel, Lynn. I would have loved to watch that one, but because that was the case that we were looking at watching before we found that the 2 imposter trial in where were we at? Detroit? That was Detroit, right? So, and with the Sarah Hartsfield trial, the only reason why I'm kind of like recapping that one, because that one is very interesting too, is that they don't have any cameras in the courtroom that we can kind of go off of. I don't know, therapist. But let's look. This happened in May of 2021. So I stand corrected, guys, because they say in May 2021. I thought it was in I don't know why I thought that it was in 2020. But here we go. Can y'all kind of still see it? Is that okay? Or y'all want me to make it where I'm smaller and it's bigger? I'll just flip it back and forth.
Kidnapped from his Dallas home in May of 2021. It was a story that pulled at the heartstrings of the community and the true crime world. Who would take this innocent boy from his crib? Then surveillance footage surfaced revealing a figure entering the room and carrying him away. Who was it? And why would he do it? Those were the 2 big questions. But part of the answer was uncovered when Cash's body was later found abandoned 8 blocks away, stabbed multiple times. Authorities identified the man in the video and charged 18-year-old Darren Brown with capital murder, kidnapping, and burglary. Brown had been declared incompetent to stand trial, but is now declared competent. And as a result, he will stand trial this October, facing a potential death sentence for the murder of little Cash Gurney. This story is so sad.
Okay, so he about to give his take on it in regards to it being sad. So I understand. I'm gonna move past that part. Oh, Torres. Okay, yeah. What's gonna happen here is you gonna figure out real quick that the host, she don't say nothing right. I make up stuff I make up stuff all the time. Just bear with me. No harm, no foul. I don't mean no harm at all. If you ever want to send me, I drop the link at different points in time. So if you want to ever come up and you could tell me how to pronounce it. I have people that send me voice notes telling me how to pronounce stuff. It is really, 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 really bad over here. I can't pronounce nothing, and I will admit it. No harm, no foul, especially when we get to look at that stuff. So I just don't want nobody to think that I'll just be purposely doing. Not to say I can read and write. Like I can read and write. Maybe sometimes. Sometimes I can't. And sometimes, sometimes my S's and it get a little tongue tied. It just get a little tongue tied. And sometimes I want it to be victorious. Like that's what I might want it to be in my mind. So it will not ever probably register the way you want. Ask Marilda. It took me probably about 3 or 4 times of her coming into the chat, and I had to absolutely practice every day saying Marilda, 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 because I wanted to call her something else, and I can't even remember what I wanted to call her, but I'm not even going to try to figure it out because if I do, I'll be trying to call her that stuff tomorrow. So let me stay where I'm at because I know that is Marilda. I've been reverted back to I wanted to pronounce every syllable in her name. So now that I got it down, it's always Marilda. So I can't go back. So as soon as I get it down, somebody will send me a voice note. Yeah, OnlyFans. Ain't nobody getting that wrong. Somebody will send me a voice note on how to do it. And as soon as they send it, I'm gonna practice it, and we all good. And I won't want to call you victorious, but it could be victorious Judah. Like Judah was victorious. Don't pay me no attention. Okay, let me see. Let me get past what he's talking about, and let's see if we can get some more information.
We have to break down the day and sort of a timeline. Where did it start? What time was he standing there looking over these children? So we made a timeline for you, and the actual time he was standing there was around 5.
So they said about 5 o'clock a.m. The suspect, the guy that we just seen, Darian, he takes the 4-year-old. His name is Cash out of his bed at 6:52 a.m. A passerby actually found Cash's body. 7:30, the suspect returns to the boys' room. Oh, that's when we seen it. Y'all remember in that video where we seen at the daylight, he was back in the room? Oh, he had came back. Oh, so he was coming back there to get the other little boy?
5 o'clock in the morning, Benny. 5 a.m., that's when he's standing over Cash's bed and snatches him up. Now at 6:52 a.m., just locations here. We have.
Okay, so right here is his house, y'all. So he done went this way and down this way, and he done went to the little boy's house. And then somehow he ends up over here where the little boy was found. Okay. Interesting.
Have where the boys were sleeping. They're in the bottom left of the screen. That's at 7527 Florina Parkway, Dallas, Texas. According to CBS 11 in Dallas, they cite the.
So they say, according to the affidavit from the search warrant, a tissue paper in the bathroom that had blood drops on it. A small pocket knife was also located and seized. Okay. Now, according to the arrest warrant, investigators searched Brown's room after Cash was found unalive. They collected an Adidas zipper hoodie, a pair of shoes, and a pair of dark color sunglasses. and they sent all these items to the lab. Police documents state that all 3 items tested positive for the little boy's blood. Wow. Wait a minute. Hold on. I got my audio message coming in. Let me listen to my audio message. Give me a second.
Virtuous Judah.
Virtuous Judah. Got it. Coming in hot. Virtuous Judah. Got it. I will be saying it from now on. You're going to have to make sure that you come and tap in. Virtuous Judah. Got it. Thank you, therapist. See? I'll be practicing it. So I need you to be up in chat so I can keep saying it, and keep saying it. Got it. All right. Done with my breaking news. Okay. Side question. Hubby wants to watch a movie this afternoon. Any Netflix, Prime, or HBO recommendations? My question would be, what kind of movies do you want to watch? In October, we don't watch horror movies around this place. Do you want something funny? Do you want something romantic? Do you want a blast from the past? It depends on what you might like. Let's see here.
Quote, according to an arrest case, blood on his clothing found.
Yeah, so he didn't have all this blood and stuff on his clothing and everything that was found inside his house. Let's see what else we got here. So here's that old creepy video.
On one of the sleeves. Those shoes are.
Wow. I can't believe he came back. I thought that looked like the same person that had came back, but I couldn't really tell. When we watched the video, when I was like, is they like, look at him. This is like super creepy. Even just the way it's in the black and white and stuff, that is so creepy.
Making that decision. I mean, the criminal mind just scares me, Vince.
Yeah, this, I had the opportunity to actually see the entire 2.5 minutes. What he does is pretty sudden. It's almost like that thought hit him. He reaches down, he grabs this kid. Unfortunately, he runs away, and we know the timeline. By the time he's back, unfortunately, the first child is dead. He's back in the same bedroom by 7:30 in the morning. In the video I saw, it's already daylight. There's daylight peeking through the windows. So
yeah, that is crazy. Like he literally unalived the one boy and came back to the same house. Like he didn't go anywhere different, anything like that. He came back to the same house and was looking for the other little boy. Isn't it Irish? Like who could couldn't even imagine. I don't even think this family cannot be sleeping to this day. To know that you was right in the other room and all of this was taking place right up under your nose. Gosh. So I say right here, the state of Texas versus Darian Brown. The honorable judge said the court and criminality. Let's see if we can read through some of this. Okay, it says files a written notice of intent to offer evidence of the affirmative defense of insanity. So this is when they wanted to plead for the insanity plea. Okay, that's when they were going for that. Okay, so his attorneys, it says, based on what I believe, I am going to be able to support this kid's schizophrenia. So they saying that they will be able to support it. He said, we want to see if this was a situation where it's a who done it or a simple question of why wasn't this prevented? Okay, so here's the attorney. Let's see what he got to say.
Murder, take a listen.
Talked to him numerous times. I'm still of the opinion that he's incompetent and can't assist in his defense. If we could have gotten him the treatment that he needed then, this tragedy may have never happened.
There it go. If he would have got some type of treatment, that's why I'm like, where was his parents' job, guys? He was only 18.
Stay at her house. Stay at her house, Vinny. That's the tidbit there. Brown knew Monica Sherrod and her teen son, but there's no definitive link to a motive between the three of them whatsoever that's been filed by authorities just yet. But we also, Vinny, have video of Brown breaking into cars in the neighborhood. Let's bring that up now. You see him there pulling on the handles of this car, seemingly trying to break into it, seeing what's in it, just up to no good in this neighborhood, Vinny.
Wow. So it does not appear to be a first time.
Also, he was out here being a car thief. All right. They say people who have schizophrenia are usually, at least in her opinion, they usually are disorganized. He was in
for capital murder, kidnapping, and burglary. His defense has long argued that he suffers from severe mental illness.
I'm trying to figure out
DNA injuries against the question of Brown's mental state at the moment the crime occurred. So there's a lot of strange facts surrounding this, and I remember covering the story when it first happened.
He was wanted on felony drug charges in Harris County, Texas, and the reason the kids ended up at this woman's house, his ex-girlfriend Monica Sherrod, is because.
Okay, so are y'all connecting the dots of who is who and who know who? Yeah, he looks so wonked out, virtuous. I tell you, I mean, wonked out.
Because he left them there in March of that year, just a couple of months before the murder happened, while he skipped town to Houston because he missed a March court date for those felony drug charges. So there's a warrant out for his arrest. So he skipped town. And Vinny, he also walks through more of the situation in this audio statement that was released on YouTube shortly after Cash's murder. Take a listen.
I knew Monica for a good few years.
I knew Monica for a good few years before moving to the Dallas area.
Before moving to the Dallas area, she was a single parent like me.
She was a single parent like me, so naturally I would ask her advice on local things.
So naturally I would ask her advice on local things.
She was a single, okay.
At the end of February, beginning of March, Monica offered her home and help.
Okay. Monica offered her home and help, which I was thankful for.
Being a single dad with
Okay, so he's the dad of the 2 4-year-olds, and Monica is somebody's home that they were just staying at. Oh gosh, a single dad with 2. Okay. Oh goodness.
twin 4-year-olds can be overwhelming from time to time. When I decided to move
So when I decided to move back to Houston after an unsuccessful job hunt, amongst other things.
back to Houston after an unsuccessful job hunt, amongst other things, I felt it was in the boys' best interest to not disrupt their routine. They were comfortable. They were around other kids, and from what it appeared, Monica was a trustworthy person.
Okay, so Monica was somebody that he trusted, that him and his kids were staying with. He was a single dad. And I mean, I guess he in the best interest of the kids, he didn't want to disrupt their routine. We can respect that if you find somebody that you trust and your kids trust. Okay, so we got Monica. Are y'all taking notes and figuring this stuff out? Because I want to know how this boy just wandered off to their house. Okay, let's play.
This choice I made with best of intentions has resulted in the most horrific outcome. I have paid the most ultimate and painful of price for my poor judgment, and I have to live with this devastation every single day. All I want to do is have that one thing every parent deserves, to say goodbye and be with my son one last time before I return him home. I wish I could give you all of the answers, but I don't have all of them. I'm barely getting through a day that doesn't take me to a dark place. I miss my son. I miss my kids. I hope you all can understand how fragile we all are, and how quickly things can turn upside down.
Wow. And it's so bad because, to top all of this off, he gonna feel like he made a bad decision. And, I really don't. I mean, hindsight is 2020. We can all agree on that. I just don't think that, it's going to be bad because, like, he going to beat himself up for this and everything. Oh, wow. Let me see what we got coming up next.
All over the place, those kiddos that and they just always got into a bunch of little trouble together, and they were active and all over the place, those kiddos that just kind of were always into something. Cash is super goofy and loved to make silly faces and loved dinosaurs and trucks, and Carter always followed Cash, and they were learning their shapes and colors.
Take a moment, Ashley. Take a moment. That's okay. I understand.
Okay, who is Ashley? Is that the mom?
A functional user. And I think that my brother had gotten to a point where he recognized he needed help. Monica, she was a mother to the boys. They had a great bond. They were happy.
Okay, Monica is the mama. I don't have no EPN right here, but we need to get this. I need to understand this. So we got Monica as the mama. I think this is the aunt, the sister, talking right now.
Their speech was improving. They were, learning their shapes and colors, and
Okay, so this is Ashley. Y'all see that? This is Ashley. The mom's name is Monica. Let me get my little notepad up. Ashley.
So Cash was learning to read. And I think that, you know, he felt like they were safe and happy where they were. Everyone, my brother.
Ashley is the aunt. That's the dad's sister.
My mom, they both wish that they had made different choices or sped up the timeline or worked harder to make, you know, the transition happen faster, but they were just doing their best to make it work. And, you know, I can't justify my brother's actions or choices. I don't defend them, and he wouldn't want me to. But I know that he was a very attentive, loving, patient father. And he was doing his best. This is not the result of negligence. This is the result of a monster who chose his prey.
Okay, so she's saying that she wouldn't blame her brother for the choices that he make, and in regards to, and also in regards to justifying them. Like, what did he do? I don't know. Oh, you say Melinda? Okay, did we find out Monica? You got timed out too, Kerville? What?
And he returns just 2.5 hours after he has stabbed this 4-year-old child to death. Let's take a look at that moment here in this video obtained again by the Daily Mail. So Vinny, what I want to do next.
This is crazy. So that's him coming back. Now remember, y'all, the one little boy is already unalive, and that's him coming back. I still don't understand nothing on this. All this gave me was more questions. Okay, so this is the lady's house that they was at, Monica's. Who is she? Okay, okay, wait a minute. Let me go back. Maybe we can listen to this part.
Grandfather, the grandfather did not press charges in that case, but had allegedly spoken with Monica Sherrod, the girlfriend whose home these children are abducted from. And she knew Darren Brown and said he'd been struggling mentally and was, I guess, perhaps friends or associated with her son. We have about 15 seconds left here.
Oh, okay. So Monica, the two boys were staying with her because the dad had to do some stuff in Houston. They were trying to get things set up. So, and he didn't want to disrupt the kids' routine. So he left the kids with Monica. Monica's son knew Darian. Got it. You want me to go back a little bit more?
I probably won't get away with it. I think this may speak to his, his sanity, or to go against his insanity defense, that maybe he made that conclusion that this is not a good idea for me to do it. Maybe that was his initial thought. But clearly, I think we could all agree his behavior is completely bizarre.
Yeah, Dr. Safai, the other thing that we've learned is that apparently 2 months prior to this, he had entered another home, attempted the abduction of a 2-year-old girl, was stopped by that girl's grandfather. The grandfather.
Also, he tried to do this before, and he was stopped by the girl's grandfather. Okay, let me finish playing. Yeah, they sound like he knew her son. That's how I feel.
Father did not press charges in that case, but had allegedly spoken with Monica Sherrod, the girlfriend whose home these children are abducted from. And she knew Darren Brown and said he'd been struggling mentally and was, I guess, perhaps friends or associated with her son. We have about 15 seconds left here. What are your thoughts about that?
She knew there's a perpetrator going around breaking into homes and trying to.
Okay, so we seen that he was breaking into cars. We seen that we just got information that allegedly that he had previously tried to kidnap a 2-year-old girl, and the granddad had stopped him. So that's almost the end of the thing, but I don't know. I still don't understand what's going on. Yeah, somebody should have got him some help, right? I mean, he was only 18. I don't know when he became 18, but I mean, he's just barely an adult, right? So, I mean, he may have just left his parents' home. Maybe. Wow. Yeah, so I think that we have our, like I said, I'm almost sure y'all know we got our stuff for tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute.
On the same page. So Ms. Faralia, thank you for being here because I know you're currently in trial.
Was other day. I just can't see them covering all of this and they're not showing us the trial.
All right, so we're on the record this morning, case 692-604, State of Ohio versus Bianca Ellis. Good morning, Ms. Ellis. We're here this morning just for our final pretrial. This case is set for trial on Wednesday. A couple motions that are pending with respect to the trial that I'm going to ask parties to discuss. Before we do that, I just want to make sure I just go through some logistics that we just spoke about so that we're all on the same page. So, Ms. Faralia, thank you for being here because I know you're currently in trial. The expectation is that we all think that you'll complete your trial maybe Tuesday, but for sure we give you the day of Wednesday. The trial here is to start on Wednesday, but in fact, we had put that in our calendar for really a questionnaire of the jurors. So if I can have you on Wednesday morning just to greet the jurors with my opening comments before they fill out the questionnaire. I think we all agree the questionnaire will be completed. Those 70 jurors will be excused for the day and we'll reconvene on Thursday with all 70 jurors being here. We'll only bring 40 up initially and begin our voir dire and our questioning of those 40 jurors. And that's how we'll begin on Thursday. We are off on Friday and then we'll continue to voir dire the jury until we have one impaneled. I did mention to all of you that I'll have 16 jurors, so I'll have 4 alternates as well with respect to the case. The courtroom's a little tight, but I think I know there are 2 different thoughts process of how we should conduct a voir dire, but I'm comfortable with this being in the courtroom the way it is. It may be that I may be able to move some tables a little bit further back if you think it's too close, but I'll try to do that adjustment with the sheriff and my staff today as well. And then finally, with respect to the trial, we're going to move forward, in a fashion that's timely. Of course, my job, Ms. Ellis, is to protect the constitutional rights regarding the trial. And so that's my job, and I'm going to continue to do that. All of you proposed a questionnaire to me, and I've modified that questionnaire, and we've talked a little bit about that. I'll ask Kathleen to make sure that that's provided to you this morning with the modifications that I suggested. And I'd ask by the end of today that you give some thumbs up or some suggestions, and I'll make my final changes to that questionnaire and provide that. Again, we'll be handling matters on the 12th floor. Again, we'll do that outside of the public view regarding this jury and the questionnaires and those questions as well. And then with respect to the well, let me ask, anything further with respect to those discussions that we talked about, anything from the state of Ohio? And I'll note for the record that Ms. Pateo and Ms. Faralia are here, but also Mr. Miranda has joined the table, Anthony Miranda for the state. And counsel are present, Mr. Mack and Mr. Johnson for Ms. Ellis. But just regarding the jury, anything that I may have missed, Ms. Faralia, regarding our discussions in chambers?
No, Your Honor, and thank you for the courtesy.
Okay, thank you.
Concluding either tomorrow evening or Wednesday morning at the latest.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Mack, anything I may have missed?
Nothing further.
Okay, thank you. All right, so then let's go to the two motions. So let's go to the motion first, just to hear arguments, and I'll take it under advisement, is the motion to sequester the jury during the trial. Mr. Mack.
Judge, on behalf of Ms. Ellis, this is a high-profile case with significant media coverage, and we requested that you sequester the jury throughout the entire trial. And we want to ensure that Ms. Ellis receives a fair trial and making sure that there's no outside influence to taint the jury. We want to make sure that jurors are protected from threats and tampering. We want to make sure that the decision is based solely on the evidence that comes out of this courtroom, rather than what they see through social media, rather than what they see through the coverage of this case. I've tried a number of cases in your courtroom. This is the first time I've ever asked to sequester a jury. And you don't need me to say it. Exhibit A is right here in your jury box right now. This case has had the kind of exposure that I believe is necessary to protect the defendant pursuant to the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution. Juror safety is important, but the integrity of the process is what is most important. No matter what she's charged with, she deserves a fair trial. Now, I understand that there's a burden financially that comes with this. I understand that there's a burden by any juror that undertakes this and want to be a part of this process. But there are other cases that have had jurors sequestered for far longer than what we're asking. We believe that the case should last a week, maybe a little more, I'm not sure, depending on how many witnesses get paired now. But the financial burden and the burden to each individual juror does not outweigh the fairness and the integrity of the process for her. So I've asked that you do it. You have the authority to do it pursuant to Ohio Criminal Rule 24H. And I think it's a reasonable request under these circumstances. Once the jurors have been impaneled, and if you don't do this, then you've lost control to manage what may be coverage through social media and other outlets. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the state?
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. The state recognizes that the court has discretion with respect to sequestering. Sequestering at the beginning of the case is very unusual in this county. It's appropriate to guard against improper media or media improperly influencing jurors, but there are standard jury instructions that the court can provide the jury to guard against any risk that they're improperly listening to media or social media. Sequestering at the start of this case would cause a substantial inconvenience to the jurors who have family outside of this case. So for that reason, we would ask the court to deny the motion.
All right, thank you. Anything further?
Just, Judge, I don't think that unusual is the litmus test. I mean, it's not the test. And instruction is given from the beginning of a case, but you don't know what folks are going to do once they're home, once they're around their family, around people that they trust. And inconvenience certainly is not the standard. So there's a reason why you have the discretion. I think you should employ it.
All right, thank you. All right, I'll take the matter under consideration and I'll have a ruling before the end of the day here. With respect to the second motion, I know we had some further discussions and I've had an opportunity to review some of the evidence that may come in or at least may be presented by the state. That second motion was a motion in limine to exclude irrelevant, repetitive, and unfairly prejudicial photographs. And so, Mr. Johnson, why don't I hear from you?
Your Honor, this is correct. I believe it came as we had opportunity to get some access to what we wanted to see, and I think we probably have a stipulation that will pare down a lot of the unnecessary photos, even though they might be inflammatory or prejudicial for the required.
All right, and so we'll note, Ms. Bralia, that when looking through, I think the autopsy photos, we've narrowed those from 200 plus to 9, and I've had a chance to review those as well. And is that acceptable to the state?
Yes, Your Honor, there's actually 10. And in addition to what Mr. Johnson indicated, there also will be some crime scene photographs, drone footage, and videos from different parts of the day prior to the homicide and then after the homicide. But all of those will be shared with the defense prior to the commencement of trial if possible. And as standard, once a trial begins and something needs to be shown, that's always shared with the defense. And if they have an objection, then you, being the arbiter of the law, make that determination.
Yes, and so at this time, let's start the trial, in a fashion that evidence will be presented. If there's an argument to be made, we can have that argument at sidebar. I'll make a decision during the trial as well. All right, I appreciate your ability to have those open communications, and thank you for doing that as well. So let's go then just to some final thoughts. I have signed and executed a media order. And so this, what in the courtroom today, we'll just have one pool camera that'll be in the corner, as opposed to, of course, a number of cameras being in here. It will not interfere with you and your production as lawyers. There's a number of things that the camera crew cannot do, like recording conversations or recording sidebar. With respect to media and witnesses wanting to be excluded from video, I did specifically outline that procedure. I'm hoping it doesn't happen when I say, who's your next witness? And then you say, well, this witness doesn't want to be videotaped. So it needs to be something that provide me ahead of time so that I can actually have it on the record without the jury being in the courtroom. And then I'll make a decision. And then I can instruct the camera pool on whether they're allowed or not allowed to video. Of course, jurors will not be videoed. And if a witness specifically is,
I don't know. So I guess we'll just have to take it one day at a time and see what ends up in regards to if they're going to stream it or not, because the judge kind of made these orders in regards to the rules. And I kind of figured it was going to be because they wanted them sequestered. So we'll kind of like see what they do tomorrow. Like, it's just like really no point of not, I mean, as long as they follow the rules. I am not, just so you're aware, Carrie, I have not been following it on Channel 5, ABC. So if you want to look, I would contact Channel 3, WKYC, because they have been the ones that have been streaming it. Like, they have been the ones that have been looking at it. Yeah, and any information that you can find out will be awesome. If not, I'm just gonna look and see if we see anything tomorrow. But yeah, they wanted the jury sequester, and you see right now we're in the part where the judge is saying, like, if people don't want to be videotaped, let him know. Of course, I'm looking at the court documents and I don't see anything that's changing anything regarding this proceeding, but who knows? They sometimes, like, I wish, yeah.
opted, and I grant that, I'll allow that to happen, but I want to be able to let media know ahead of time as opposed to spontaneous in the courtroom. So if you can be mindful of that, I appreciate that as well. And then in and out privileges, I did discuss as well. We're not going to allow that movement in and out. There'll be some precautionary means of coming in and out of the courtroom as well that the sheriff has put together for me. And then lastly, I wanted to note that the parties have had discussions at my request about whether there was a potential opportunity of resolving the matter. And I think all of you have had those diligent discussions back and forth. But Ms. Feralia, just for the record, before we begin on Wednesday, there's no mark on the file as far as an offer being made as far as a result to this case. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor. Nothing has been offered at this time.
Okay. But fair to say there have been discussions between the state and Mr. Mack and Mr. Johnson.
That is fair, Your Honor.
Yeah, thank you. And anything to add to that, Mr. Johnson or Mr. Mack?
Judge, in all fairness, we haven't asked for anything.
Very good. All right, thank you. And then lastly, for the state, anything before we recess for the day? Otherwise, I think if you are still in trial, Ms. Feralia, the judge is going to give you a chance to at least meet the jury when I bring them down for the beginning of the questionnaires. So I would see you on Wednesday morning. But anything further that you would want to address with me?
Not at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And again, just whoever's going to follow up with my bailiff regarding the questionnaire that I finalized today as well. And then Mr. Johnson, Mr. Mack, anything I may have missed or anything you want to address before we recess?
Not before we recess.
All right. Very good. All right, thanks, everybody. We'll adjourn.
Okay, so we shall see how that turns out tomorrow. Like I said, I don't see anything. We got our good Carrie. See, she got her boots on the ground. She gonna help us out, try to find out some information. If we gonna be able to be all up in that courtroom tomorrow. But worst case scenario, I do have a trial that I do want to cover. So if we, I mean, it's an older trial, but I do have a rewatch trial that I would love to, I would enjoy watching with you guys. So if that doesn't happen, then I'll get that scheduled on our schedule for tomorrow. Yeah. And y'all know how we do it. We just get up in whatever courtrooms allow us to be up in the courtroom. And if they don't allow us up in the courtroom, we'll find something else to do. Right? That's what we do here over at Taking the Trial. We just go wherever they allow us. I think we got some sentencing to go through and things like that. Yeah, therapists. Hopefully they do let us in there. I don't want to be blocked out like that. It is annoying. It's irritating. Like, I'm mad that old boy that took a plea deal, that he pleaded guilty this morning. Like, no, go all the way to court. I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to learn. So I need you to go all the way to, take it all the way there. I'm like, we this close. So I know that I did see that they're going to have a case down here in Arizona, kind of down here where I'm at. It's about maybe 2 hours away. And it's funny because it is a unalivened case of a 2-year-old girl that was left in a hot car, a 2-year-old child. Let me say a 2-year-old child because I can't remember if it was a girl or boy. And they offered the dad a plea deal, which I find interesting. And he declined the plea deal. And so y'all know if he get convicted and he's guilty, they probably gonna give him the max. And I'm just trying to understand what his defense is and how he's getting around it. But that case is later on this month, like towards the end of the month. Then we got our Fulio unalivened trial where the girl that's involved with that case will be on there. Okay, Carrie. Awesome. Yeah, definitely let us know. Or you can send it to me at takeittotrial2ls@gmail.com. I don't know how to work nothing else on any of my other socials, so good luck with that, y'all. I need somebody to teach me because I don't know how to do nothing. Like, people probably could DM me and I don't even know they DM me. Sorry. I got all these accounts and I don't even know how to utilize any of them. It took me all of so just so everybody is clear, let me make this very, very clear. I was never a social media person. And you can tell because I'm still not a social media person. I was YouTube, watch my trials, throw my thing at the TV, sit up here, do my mommy duties, take care of the house. I never engaged with like Facebook and Snapchat and TikTok and all of this stuff. So it's new to me. And like yesterday, I wanted to throw my phone because I was trying to figure out how to what was I trying to do? I was trying to figure out how to put a reel on the thing. And I'm like, I can't figure this out. Like, oh gosh. I know, man, I'm all the way in the deep end. And I don't want nobody to ever think that I'm ignoring anything. And the only reason why I tell everybody to email me because I do not email. But if you do something in the DM, I don't know nothing about that. I'm like, I don't even know how. I'd never used my own. I don't know what this stuff is all about. It's so crazy. I made a Facebook account where I did a Facebook for the channel, right? So I can start posting stuff. They won't even let me go live because my account is not 60 days. Because I was gonna start going live on Facebook. I can't go live, y'all, because I haven't had my account 60 days. So that tell y'all how blues clues I am. And I was like, what is this blue check mark that everybody got next to their name? Like, is that important or not important? Do I need to have this blue check mark? Can y'all tell me? Do I need that? Do I need that? I did it for one of my accounts. I did it for my Twitter account. You say you hear me? I'm terrible with them. I'm like, I need somebody to do these for me because I don't know what I'm doing and I can't keep up on them. Also, I don't need the blue check mark. I was like, well, I did it for Twitter. I didn't do it for Instagram. Then they got this new thing called Threads. You say unless it's free. Okay, so I need it if I want to verify that I'm legit. Okay, so I'm legit on one of them. I think Twitter, the one with the X. I'm legit on that one because I got the blue check mark. And I think it's another one that offer you the blue check mark, and I don't know. I tried SD, they won't do nothing for me. I asked them if they would go through my videos and give me the times, like when opening statements start for the, I asked them. They don't have time for me. They ain't thinking about me. If you get offers of cash to sponsor things, people in the same genre is helpful. Yeah, and I've been trying to I'm trying to figure out different ways and different things. People make fake pages, so the blue check again is to show you legit. Okay, well, I'm gonna be legit on X. and then I'll think about all the other ones that I need to be legit on. But I was like, yeah. So I guess it's just trial and error. I'm just learning and figuring out things and yeah. I'm doing this 24/7. Like even when I'm not on, I feel like I'm on. So it is what it is. I have fun and I enjoy doing it and researching it. So that's the one good thing about it. Is that when you enjoy what you're doing, it don't even really matter. And I'm like, okay, it's taking me. I see why people just do lives versus to all that editing and pre-recording videos and stuff like that, because that is time consuming. I don't know if y'all gonna get many more videos out of me unless I learn how to do this really, really fast. Cause I've been working on the same video for a whole day and a half, and I should not. The video ain't nothing but 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh gosh. And in this day and a half, I could have got on stream and told them exactly what I wanted to say versus to trying to put all these clips and all this stuff together. But I said, if I keep practicing it, I'll get better and I'll get faster and I'll get more efficient at it. And it won't take me 2.5+ days. I said, by the time I get this video out, it's going to be more information. That's okay. I'm just going to go live. Yeah, I'm just going to go live tonight. How about that? So I'm going to do a vertical stream tonight if any of y'all want to come. And it's just going to be an update in regards to our Sarah Hartsfield trial. I am going to go back in there and finish doing the editing so I can get that video out here so y'all can at least be caught up before I give y'all some more information tonight. But I'm not doing a video. I am just gonna go live and I'm gonna give y'all an update and do my vertical streams. Remember, during the vertical streams, that's when I need my ruby kisses, right? My gifts through the chat. So we'll do a quick recap in regards to that of today's testimony, and I'll get that video out to you guys today. So we can have and be all caught up there. Got some good information. A lot of things that I was questioning in regards to this case after reading up and looking at some videos and all the testimony that came in on day 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, even if they don't convict her on the current charge of unaliving her husband by providing too much insulin, she need to go to jail just for all the other stuff. I have decided that here I take it to trial, but you know, the jury is supposed to go off of the current situation and the evidence, and this was all, and the things that they brought in is all in evidence, but I just don't think the jury can ever separate all of this. So since they brought it in and they allowed it in, she gonna be guilty based off of her history, and her history is something else. So y'all see that later. Maybe I don't have that much longer to edit on that one, so I should be sending it out maybe in like the next hour or so. So look for that to come out. We'll play tomorrow by ear. I'll get us scheduled as if we are going to be covering the Bianca Ellis trial, right? And we'll just keep it going from there. And other than that, it was really nice hanging with you guys, right? And we'll be on I'll be back in about maybe about 7. Because it don't come out until like 4 something. I don't get all the updates until like 4. So once I get all the updates at 4, then I'll go live a little later and we'll do that. Sounds like a plan, everyone? Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely, Macro. You know we here for you whenever you get a chance. If not, you know, I always see you out here in the YouTube streets. I love to see you and Sharon Rock and everybody that goes back and looks at the videos or anything that we have done. And they say, hey, I was just stopping by. Good rewatch. I caught this. That is awesome. So everything and anything that y'all do, it definitely helps the stream. It helps keep us out there in this rhythm. Considering that in the rhythm they put my OnlyFans in I don't know if you want to call that time out, because that sounds like detention when they hide the channel from you. That sounds like detention. That sounds like something more than a timeout. But I don't even know how he got in detention, but he was put in detention, and I would have never knew if I wasn't even trying to go in there to get Drunky the Bear. So all things happen for a reason, right? She was put in there by mistake. And I went in there trying to get her out of timeout and found out that OnlyFans was in detention. So all things happen for a reason. That's all I can say. All right, guys. Well, I will definitely see you guys later. You guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon or your early evening, and we will touch base in regards to our Sarah Hartsfield trial later on today. Okay? And remember, the most important thing, that you were in the right place today, where there are no filters, right? No fluff, just facts. So you can be the judge. All right, SweetPGang, I will see you later. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to everybody that donated. I will see you later on if you're able to catch us. If not, tomorrow. Peace.